Hello friends, today I am going to teach you the standard 6 third lesson, that is diversity in living things and their classification. So before we are moving towards this lesson, let us recall some question, that is, in which spheres of the earth do living things exist? That is hydrosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere. Okay, we have studied this all spheres. Okay, then next is, are the plants and animals that you have seen all alike? So answer is what? In geographical conditions at different places on the earth are very different. They try to adjust to those conditions. So we know that there are abundant of living organisms are present on the earth, are found on the earth. Many organisms are not identical to each other. This variety of living beings present on the earth is called as the biodiversity, or you can say a diversity. Okay, let us see the diversity in plants. As we know that there is a lot of variety in the same type of plants. For example, there is the different varieties of rice, wheat, jawar, etc. Then different types of roses are there, and mangoes of different flavors. Some plants grow even without stem, leaves or roots. Various types of plants found in many places around us. Some plants like grass are short, some plants grow underwater, some are float on the water, some even grow in a desert. So let us see the diversity of plants. Okay, so according to their mode of nutrition, there are three types of plants, that is autotrophic plants, heterotrophic plants and the insectivorous plants. So what is the meaning of autotrophic plants? Plants make their own food in sunlight. Such plants are called as autotrophic. That means the plants which make their own food are called as autotrophic. For example, hibiscus, pomegranate, periwinkle, etc. Now next is the heterotrophic. The plants that cannot prepare their own food but use the food of other plants are called as heterotrophic plants. For example, loranthus. Next is insectivorous plants. The plants that consume insect, that eat insect as a food, okay, are called as insectivorous plants. For example, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, etc. Next is scientific classification of plants. The method of scientific classification of plants was developed by the scientist, that is Carl Linnaeus. Okay, now before we move towards the classification of plants, let us discuss the structure of plant. There are the parts of plants, that is flower, leaf, fruit, stem, root, etc. The plant structure can generally be divided into a main two parts, that is the stem which is grow above the ground and the roots which is grow below the ground. The root, stem and leaves are the main parts of the plants. The flowers are then plants bear flowers for reproduction. Flowers are transformed into a fruits, and the fruits have a seeds, and from the seeds that means seeds give rise to a new plants. So let us see the details of each part. The flower, this is the most attractive parts of the plant. It is connected to the stem by a stalk which may be long or short. A flower has a typical color and shape. The flower is an important means of reproduction, means the flower which is help in a reproduction. Next part, that is stem. The height, shape and size of the plant depends upon the stem. The stem carries out the function of reproduction or production, that is conduction and storage of food. In some plants it has the function, that is reproduction. It gives support to the other parts of the plants. This is the stem. Now next is the root. What is the function of root? Root holds the soil firmly and anchor the plant. That means it gives support to the plant. The main function of the root is absorb and transport the water and the nutrients from the soil, and that gives to the all parts of the plant. The roots of the carrot and radish also store a food. There are two types of root, that is taproot and the fibrous root. Okay. Now next is the leaf. The leaf is the flat. It plays an important role in the production of the food. That means the process of photosynthesis take place in the leaves. Leaves are mainly of two types, that is simple leaves and the compound leaves. Next part of the plant is the fruit. Fruit have a different shapes. Okay, as we seen in the market, the fruits have a different shape. Fruits contain one or more seeds. The pods of beans and peas are actually fruits. So this is all about the structure of the plant. Now as we discussed, there are two types of leaves and two types of roots are there. So which is the types of leaves? That is compound leaves and the simple leaf. Simple leaves means what? A single undivided leaf blade and a single midrib is called a simple leaf. And compound leaf is what? The leaf blade is divided into a many small parts called leaflets. You can observe in the picture. Roots in some plants produces secondary roots which grow and spread far and wide in the soil, providing support to the plant. Such type of root is called as the tap root. For example, hibiscus. Okay. Now next is the fibrous root. That means a thread-like or fiber-like structure of the root are called as the fibrous root. For example, onion root. Okay. So these are the two types of leaves and the that roots. Okay. Now next is the why we need the classification of plants. As we discussed, there are lots of varieties of plants are found on the earth. So to study such a vast variety, there is the need of classification of plants. Now in order to identify the plants correctly, to understand the similarities and the differences between the plants, we need the classification of plants. Now let us see the classification of plants. Here are given the classification, that is tree, herb, shrub, climber, creeper. Okay, according to their height, the classification of plant is given. First one is the tree. Big and tall plants are called as a tree. The stem of the tree are thick, hard and strong. Then branches at some height above the ground. Then height of the tree is more than 3 meters. Example, mango, neem, coconut, etc. Okay. Now next is the shrub. Plants that grow close to the ground and have medium height are called as a shrub. The stem of the shrub are woody, thick and hard. Then branches are very close to the ground in height up to 2 to 3 meters. For example, rose and the sunflower, etc. Now next is the herbs. Some plants are very short in size, are called as the herbs. For example, here mint, lettuce, coriander. Okay, the stem of the herbs are green and quite flexible. They do not have branches, many branches. Then height up to 1 to 1.5 meters tall. Okay, so this is all about the tree, shrub and herbs. According to their height, they are given the classification. Now next is the vines. This is also a classification of plants. Some plants, unlike trees, herbs and shrubs, have weak stem and can't stand erect, are called as the vines. For example, you can observe pumpkin. Okay, the plant of pumpkin, that is the creeper. Then what is the meaning of creeper? Plants with weak stem that spread on the ground, that is called creeper. Climbers, plants with weak stem that climb up with the support of other plants, walls or sticks. For example, grape climber. Okay, so this is all about the vines. So next is classification of plants based on the lifespan. Plants that grows and dies in only 1 year, that is the annual. Okay, for example, bajra, sunflower, etc. Next one is biennial, that means plants that grows and dies in 2 years. It's called biennial plant, that is carrot, beetroot, etc. Now third one is perennial, plant that lives for more than 2 years, for example mango tree, neem tree, etc. So this is the classification according to their lifespan. Now next is classification according to their bearing of flowers. That means plants that bear flowers are called as a flowering plant. For example, rose, gulmohar, cactus. That means plants having flower are called flowering plants. Next one is plants that never bear a flower are called as a non-flowering plants. That means algae, fern, etc. Okay, so this is the classification according to bearing a flower. Now the next is the world largest flower here given, that is Rafflesia arnoldi, which is having the diameter is 1 meter. Okay, is about 1 meter. Now the smallest flower in the world is what? Ulfia or duckweed, which its diameter is as small as 0.5 mm. You can observe here a picture of both the flower. Now next is, can you tell that where does the pomegranate shrub grow? Where does the lotus grow? Where do bulrushes, the railroad creeper grow? Then where does the dodder plants grow? All the questions, the answer of that all questions are given in the next part, that is classification of plants based on their habitats. So we see the different plants grow in different places around us. Plants can be classified according to their habitat. That means some plants are grow in a desert, some plants are grow on land, some plants are grow in a water, some are in a marshy places. Okay, and even a big tree are that means there are the various habitats of the plants. Okay, so here we finish the classification of plants. Next one is given, that is classification of animals and diversity in the animals. So here you can observe the animals, different animals are observed here. So from these animals we can say that there are found a variety of animals on the earth. So according to some similarities and differences, we can classify them. Okay, so different animals have developed different shapes to survive in the environment. There is a great variety in the body structure of animals. Animals have body parts like head, neck, torso, tail, limbs for a movement. They have a various organ system which carry on various functions inside their body. In this respect too, there is a lot of diversity in animals. Okay, so these animals you observe in the pictures, we can classify them according to their similarities and differences. So when we sort things into groups on the basis of some similarities and differences, that means we classify them. So let us see the classification of animals. So for that, do that experiments. Take a drop of water from the puddle and place it on the glass slide and observe that glass slide under the microscope. You will see the continuously moving amoeba on in that slide. So the paramecium is also a unicellular animal as like that of the amoeba. So according to the cell structure, the classification of animals is given, that is unicellular and the multicellular animal. What is meaning of unicellular animals? So classification organism that is made up of a single cell is called as a unicellular organism or unicellular animal. For example, amoeba and paramecium. Next is multicellular organism or multicellular animal. Animals that is made up of a many cell is called as a multicellular animals. For example, here given deer, dog, zebra, and we also are the multicellular animals. Now next is according to presence of vertebral column, there are given the classification, that is vertebrates and the invertebrates. Okay, so what is meaning, what is the vertebral column? So here you can see the picture or observe the picture that given there, the chain of the bone in the center of our back, okay, is called as a vertebral column. Now what is the meaning of vertebrates? Animals with that vertebral column are called as the vertebrates. You can observe the example also here, the snake, fish and crow. These are the examples of vertebrates. Okay. Now, then next is invertebrates, that means animals which do not having that vertebral column are called as the invertebrates. Okay. Now next is, you can observe here the production in hen. How the hen is reproduced. A hen lays eggs first and hatches them. After some days, the young chicks hatch out of the eggs. A cow gives birth to a calf. Before that, the calf grows within the cow's body. Okay, that means what? There are two modes of reproduction. Okay, first one, the animals laying eggs, and in second one is the animals gives birth to the young one. So according to mode of reproduction, before that we seen here, reproduction is the characteristics of living things. So what is reproduction? Living things produce other living things like themselves is called reproduction. Now according to the mode of reproduction, they are given the two types of animals, that is oviparous animals and the viviparous animals. Now what is the meaning of oviparous animals? The animals which reproduce by laying eggs are called as the oviparous animals. As we discussed the example, hen, okay, then snake, tortoise, etc. Now what is the meaning of viviparous animals? The animals which give birth to their young one are called as a viviparous. For example, cow, then cat. Okay, so these are the two classification. Now next is according to their habitat, animals are classified into three groups, that is terrestrial, aquatic and amphibious animal. What is the meaning of terrestrial animals? The animals which are live on land are called as a terrestrial animal. For example, camel, elephant, horse, dog, etc. Now next is according to their those animals which are live in water are called as the aquatic animals. For example, here given fish, okay, and that horse. Then next one is amphibious animals. Those animals which are live on both land and water, live in water also and on land also, are called as the amphibious animals. For example, frog, then salamander, okay, then the toad, etc. So this is the classification of animals according to their habitat. And here one more aerial mode of life, that is what? A kite, an eagle, butterfly, crow, honeybee, these all fly in air. Okay, so though they live in different places, they fly in the air. So these animals are said to have an aerial mode of life. Now here we finish the classification of animals. Just revise it in that flow chart. So according to cell structure, there is given the two classification, unicellular, multicellular. Then according to vertebral column, there is given also the two classification, that is vertebrates, invertebrates. Then according to mode of reproduction, they are given the oviparous, viviparous animals. According to their habitat, they are given the terrestrial animals, aquatic animals, and the amphibian animals. And another one is the aerial mode of life. So this is all about the classification of animals. In the living world, we know that a lot of diversity is seen both in animals and the plants. So every plant and animal is unique. We should all make efforts to conserve this diversity in the living world. Okay, we have to conserve this diversity in the living world. Okay, here we finish the lesson, and the last and the most important part of this, what? The homework. What is your homework? First question is what? Draw a well-labeled diagram of structure of plants, as we discussed in early. Okay, then question 2 is what? Write the definition and example of the following. That means here you have to write down the definition of each and the example of each plant. First one is flowering and the non-flowering plant. Second one is annual and perennial plant. Third one is vertebrates and invertebrates. Fourth one is oviparous and viviparous animals. And last is the aquatic and the amphibious animals. So you have to write down this all as question and answers in the your HW. Thank you.